I am live. All right, okay. So first of all, let me stop that wobbling. My webcam has a habit of moving on me. There we go. So this is what I say in network marketing to get more sales. So, and also I'm doing it on YouTube live because this is new. Well, it's not new, but I think I've seen them like pushing it. So I thought I'd give it a go. So if you are watching, whether live or on the replay, if you're watching on the replay, please put replay. If you're watching live, put live just so I know. Right, so we'll see how it goes. So in affiliate marketing, network marketing, online marketing, we're usually involved. We're trying basically to get somebody, ideally our target audience, to go and see the solution we've got that solves somebody's problem, right? That's what we want to do. Or maybe, you know, you might be selling something that's aspirational that people want, maybe a lotion potion type business, right? Or, you know, health, wealth, whatever. So it's assuming you've got somebody to get to the video, and then there's that awkward, what do I say? I don't know what to say. You know, how do I follow up without being salesy? How do I ask for the sale without asking for the sale kind of deal? So this is something that I learned. I think it was Eric Worre in one of his videos, who's like as far as you can go in network marketing. Basically, I think Ray Higdon's doing more like generic selling now. So Eric Worre is great resource if you need help, and I learned this from him. So rather than going, did you want to join? Rather than just sitting there and crossing your fingers and hoping they ring you up and say, that was amazing, I can't wait to get started, which does happen, but let's be honest, not that often. Or rather than saying, what did you like? Because you run the danger of them saying nothing. You also run the danger of them saying, I love the font. I thought the font was brilliant. That was a really good font they used on the title there, right? So what I like to do is say, hey, did you manage to watch? Did you get a chance? Did you manage to watch the video yet? And hopefully they'll say yes. And then you say, fantastic. So listen, based on what you saw, what would it take? You know, what would it take for it to be worth your while to do it? Full-time, part-time, you know, just to make some extra out of it. What would you need for it to be worth your time and your investment and your while? And then you see they're expecting you to say, when do you want to get started? Should we start now? You know, what pack do you want to come in at? You know, so you ask them, and then the way that I remember it, I like to play these little mind games with myself sometimes, is I imagine that I've got a clipboard and a pen, and I'm not a salesperson, I'm a consultant. I don't care if they buy it or not, right? If they're just going to buy it because I pressure them, they'll leave anyway, right? And I've learned that, you know, not that I pressured people, but, you know, like when you can be, it's going to be amazing and it's so great. And then we got this and we got that. It's going to be so amazing. Please, please, please come and join, you know. Doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So, so what you say is, okay, based on what you saw, what would it take for it to be worth your while to actually do something with this, right? Even if it's very part-time, but what would it take for it to be worth your while? And then they come back and I go, I don't know, I want to make an extra $1,000 a month. You go, cool. And how long would you give it? You know, if you say a week, it's not for you. But how long would you give it to go and make $1,000, you know, a month in recurring? It's network marketing. It's usually recurring, isn't it? No. You know, what would it take? $1,000 a month, right? Okay. So how long would you give it to make your $1,000? When? At what point would you quit? You know, what do you need? 3 months, 6 months, a month, a week, 2 years? How long would you give it? Well, I don't know. 6 months might be reasonable. Okay, yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. Okay, and then how many hours a week have you got that you're willing to put into this, right? And they might say 10 minutes a week, and then you say, like, okay, what are you willing to move on? Are you willing to move on putting more time in? Are you willing to wait how long it's going to take? So do you notice I'm not, as long as they're not kind of giving me stupid answers, I'm no point am I saying, oh, no, it's not for you, really. All I'm doing is I'm working with them and saying, yeah, $1,000 a month. Well, that's loads of people do that. How long have you got each week to do? Would you be willing to put in 10 minutes? It's not really enough. That's not going to work. Are you willing to come down on your income goal or increase your activity? Neither. Okay, fine, no problem. Thanks for looking. I appreciate it. If it ever changes, let me know. Just move on. And quite often when you do that, by the way, when you do the takeaway, they come back and they go, well, maybe I could do more, you know, because they want it. And another good question to ask when you do this is, what would it mean to you? So let's just recap. Let's go over it again. So based on what you saw, what would it take for it to be worth your while to do this? $1,000 a month. Okay, cool. How long would you give it to make $1,000? Would you give it like a week? Obviously, that's ridiculous, but would you give it more like, 3 months? Something like that? 3 months, 6 months, a year? Well, I'd be willing to give it 3 to 6 months. Fantastic. How much time? What would you do with that? What would that do for you if you could make that $1,000 a month? Oh, well, I'd be able to go on a vacation. Get, my partner out of their job or whatever. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Sounds like a good cause. So, given that you want to make that $1,000 a month in 3 to 6 months, how much time are you willing to invest each week into your business? Your business, not mine. How much time are you willing to invest in your business? Well, I could do probably an hour or two a week. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. That is possible, but also I'm not gonna lie to you because it's going to be harder. It's going to take longer. Are there any times you could maybe do some more? Right? Well, I don't know. What I'm saying is you might want to think 3 to 6 months. You might want to think more like 6 months to a year, right? At that level of input, because it's like any real life business. The more you put in, the more you get out. So if you would, if you bear that in mind, or you could do a bit more, and if you bring some team members on, that can help with duplication. It is doable. I just want to be realistic with you. That's all, because I want this to be a long-standing business for you that surpasses your $1,000 a month. Because we've got people in the team that are making. I know somebody did 15 grand last month. So does that sound fair? Grand, 3 to 6 months. Minimum an hour or two a week, but really I need to do a bit more when I can. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds reasonable. Fantastic. What pack do you want to come in at? What would you recommend? What did you join at? Well, I joined at the lowest level. Well, I'll do that. I joined at the top level. Okay, I'll do that. These are the sort of things you got to think about. So that's my Facebook Live, my first one, just as a test. And I'm going to play it back and see how it did. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Again, watch on replay. Please comment, put replay. And I appreciate that. Catch you later.